Now to talk hoops, Kris Gardner is back from the Houston Roundball review along with Zach Tawatari. Kris, March is almost here. March is almost here.
My favorite time of the year.
Oh, it is so good. Now let's talk the Coogs, 21-2, top 10 ranking. Let's break down the season thus far like this. Has Kelvin Sampson's team overachieved? No, underachieved, status quo, or overachieved? Where do you fall when you look at how the Cougars have performed thus far? Is it underachieved, status quo, or overachieved?
This might surprise our viewers, but I am going to say overachieved.
And why is that?
The newcomers, a lot of newcomers, the freshmen, starting two freshmen, I didn't think they'd be this good this early, and what they're doing in the Big 12 still, overachieved for me.
Yes, only 2 losses this season. Zach, under, over, or status quo?
I'm going to have to agree with Kris here, and I'm also going to say overachieve, and for the same reasons. I know Kelvin Sampson was asked earlier this season if he was surprised how good Kingston Flemings was already. He said, "Why would you ask me that? I knew how good he was going to be." So maybe that'll upset Kelvin Sampson, but I think they've overachieved with how quickly they've acclimated.
Well, when you look at the talent they lost from last year's team, and one thing that has certainly helped them is to have a experienced guy like Milos Uzan, quote unquote, running things still. But man, when you have freshmen taking major minutes like they have, I'm going to say overachieve as well. But I don't think Kelvin Sampson would be upset about all of us saying overachieve. Do you, Kris?
I don't think so. I think he likes it. He'll enjoy it, and he might want to see what they're saying about us, that kind of stuff too. So.
All right, so there you have it, 3 overachieves, and now here's our play of the week. And now let's stay with U of H. What surprises you most, or what is the biggest surprise to you about this team at this point of the season?
Kingston Flemings. Kingston Flemings. Guys, in October, Kelvin said Kingston was coming back for a second year of college basketball. Kingston said he's coming back for a second year of college basketball. Now he's a top 5 pick in the 2026 NBA draft.
You think top 5,
gone.
huh?
He's
Wow.
top 5, top 10. He's gone. He's one and done. He's gone. That surprised me.
The fact that he's able to play such demanding positions so quickly in Kelvin Sampson's system, that is really, really huge. And I look at Milos Uzan. Now, statistically, I would have expected Milos to take a little bit more of a jump when you consider his experience and now being in year 2. But I think that certainly a lot of those points are now Kingston Fleming points. But I think that when you look at a surprise, that is a surprise for me. But it's not a bad thing because certainly Milos will be counted on so much come tournament time with his experience.
Yeah, and it's Kingston Flemings for me too as well, because coming into the season, I think we knew more about Chris Sinak and expected him to play the way that he has, although he has, struggled a little bit physically with some of the bigger guys, but he's still growing. Like Kelvin said, he's a teenager and he's competing against men strength-wise. But Kingston Fleming, just the explosiveness has really surprised me, and his ability to, shoot from the outside also a lot more than I expected.
Yeah, he has been a bucket. Are you surprised that Kelvin Sampson came out and mentioned about we're poor? We know that U of H traditionally is a little bit behind the pack. Were you surprised when it comes to NIL money and things like that? Were you surprised that Kelvin came out and said that? Or he did walk it back a little bit.
Maybe the timing of it. There's a reason why he said what he says. Kelvin doesn't speak out of turn.
No.
He has a reason for what he says. I understood what he meant. I know what he meant. And so I wasn't surprised. I'm a proud UH alum, and I know we have a long way to go in terms of budget when it comes to other teams in power conferences.
Yeah. The UH team obviously is the talk of Houston. When we look at Rice is under 500 in Rob Lanier's second season. Kris, in your mind, what does success realistically look right now for the Owls?
Qualifying for the American Conference Tournament. That's it.
That's it?
Yes, that's it. Year 2, there are 13 teams in the American. The top 10 make the tournament. They're around 10 or 11 right now, so they're 10th right now. That's just doing that, making the conference tournament is success for me.
I think success for me is a consistent style of play from the beginning to the end of the game. You mentioned their record is not going to impress anybody this year, right? But if they can continue to develop more of a gritty style of play, I was out there earlier this year watching a game with them, and they go through these dips and mountains, mountaintops and dips and valleys, and it's because they're just not able to consistently do that for an entire game like better programs are. So to me, it's style of play.
A team we typically see in March is Texas Southern, 5-5 in conference play. I got the sense that Johnny Jones had a lot of hope for this group at the beginning of the season, and certainly TSU was always going to struggle at the beginning of the year because it's playing the bigger programs and making some money. Do you have confidence that this group can march into March based on what we've seen thus far?
Unfortunately, no, I don't have confidence. No, Johnny Jones, Tournament Johnny, yes, that is what he's known for. But right now, they're up and down. They win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 1 in SWAC play. They're playing the best team in the conference in Bethune-Cookman on Monday. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure it's going to win that game on the road in Florida. They need to. They're 4 games behind already, Bethune-Cookman. So it's a must-win, really, for them. But SWAC tournament team, small conference, it's one and done. You got to win the conference anyway, so that's what they have to do.
Yeah, and I look at what TSU has done statistically. Right now, Texas Southern is averaging or allowing 80 points per game, and that's not going to cut it. So they really need to shore up things defensively for them to have a chance to make any noise in March.
Yeah, it's the defensive thing for me as well, because we've seen that they've scored pretty well. They have a decent offense, but the fact that they're allowing so many points per game, they don't have enough firepower to overcome that on a consistent basis.
Let's move on to the women, and the hottest team in all of Houston is the Rice women. Does this group have enough firepower, though, to make a run in the NCAA tournament? Because when you look at the scoring leaders, Kris, they're basically three players that are near the top, and they really spread things out. Do they have enough firepower, though, to make a run?
Unfortunately, they have to win the conference tournament because the American is a one-bid league.
So it's first things first is what you're telling me.
Yes, for sure.
Jason, let's not talk about NCAA. They've got to get to they've got to make a run and win the conference tournament first.
They're undefeated in the conference. They've won 15 in a row, but all that doesn't matter if they don't win the conference championship.
Yeah, and I do think they have the potential to make a run if they can win the conference tournament, like Kris said, and depending on seeding, of course, because that's going to make a big difference. When they lost to LSU a couple of years ago, they were very close in that game through the first half. I think they have a deeper team this year, and I think they have the opportunity to go deeper in the tournament. They just, like Kris says, need to take care of first things first.
Actually, I not having one defined score, I think, may actually help this team because one night it's Ennis leading the team. Mm-hmm. Another night it's somebody else with 30 points. So I'm actually thinking that might actually help this group if they are able to get into the tournament, because whereas sometimes you would concentrate on one player stopping this one score, Rice has done a good job of spreading things around thus far.
Victoria Flores, Anaya Alexis, Dominique Ennis, different players have stepped up. The best they could probably hope for in seeding is probably an 11 seed. So that could be a 6-11 matchup. But first things first, they have to win the American Conference Tournament to get there.
All right, few people know college hoops better than Kris Gardner from the Houston Roundball Review. Also, Guy V. Lewis Award, that's right around the corner as well. When will that be announced?
The winner will be announced April 1st. I won't say the location yet, but April 1st, we're going to have a reception for the top 10 players, Greater Houston area, boys, high school players. And we're going to announce the winner April 1st, so stay tuned for that.
All right, we love hearing that. Kris, as always, thanks for joining us on Sports Extra.
My pleasure, guys, as always.